Hi, Aries, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your February 2nd, 2022 reading for you. Now, I ask if this reading resonates with you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will all be listed and linked in the description box below. Now, before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds, letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. So let's see what the tarot has to say. Let's see what the angel number 2022, has to say about this time, everything that is coming forward for us. So let's see this, Aries. Aries, February 2nd, 2022. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So at the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. At our root, we have the Sun, which is absolutely brilliant. We have Justice, which is Libra energy. And we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy. So if we have Libra or Taurus within our natal chart, that's coming through very strongly here at our root. Also, if we're born on the cusp of Taurus, this part of our personality is going to come out very strongly during this time. We then have the Two of Wands. And we have the High Priestess. This is very funny, okay? So this is hysterical because the High Priestess is the second card in the Major Arcana, right? Because 0 is the Fool, right? And then we have the Two of Wands. So we have the number 22 right here in our inner self, meaning this affects us quite powerfully. This is a time, it's a powerful time, I'm not going to lie. We have the Hierophant coming through again. We have the Three of Cups. And we have the King of Swords, again, Taurus energy coming through. If we have it within our natal chart, if we're born on the cusp with Taurus, that's going to be quite intense. And then we have the King of Swords, which is air sign energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And the King of Swords is this knowledge, is this understanding, is this clarity that's coming in. We then have the Hierophant, again, that's hysterical. And okay, so the High Priestess in earlier forms of the tarot deck was called the female pope. So we have the male pope coming through in 3 sections. We have the female pope coming in one. That's amazing. Then we have the Six of Wands. Okay, so things start moving quickly. We start to be able to celebrate ourselves, but we're going to see things changing. We're going to see ourselves needing to be grounded, needing to understand, and this is going to be an intense time, no lie whatsoever. So let's look at our energy to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. This is the Death card. This is Scorpio energy, and this is a sense of of transformation, we have to be mindful of lies. We have to be mindful of transformative lies. Lies that are said that would make us do one thing over the other. Lies that are, embraced that, again, would make us do one thing or another. This is saying fact checked. You look at things, gain an understanding, seek and search much more deeply than just the surface. This is not a time for just surface ideas, surface, understandings. This is a time to go much deeper. Let us look at our chakra energy. Angels and spirit guides show me clearly. Meditation. Meditation, the crown chakra, we need to meditate, we need to contemplate, we need to gain an understanding of ourselves for ourselves. And as we do this, we need to come into center our heart and our mind. And that's why we have the King of Swords at our heart. Our heart and our mind are coming together in a very real way, in a very powerful way, Aries. But meditating on this day, meditating during this time, meditating on the number 22, just sitting there. I love just looking at a candle flame flickering and just sitting calmly and breathing it in, taking in the light, taking in the understanding, and think of the number and see what it brings up for us as we're thinking about it. So the angel number 22 is telling us that we're on the right track. So this is a day where we feel like we're on our right track. We're becoming more in aligned, and we're bringing our dreams to reality. So we're becoming more in aligned with our dreams. We're bringing our dreams to reality. Our angels are on our side, and we feel that. We feel like we're being backed by something concrete, something secure, something powerful. And we're also being told, don't let fears hold you back. We're going to think, oh, okay, I should be afraid of this, or I shouldn't do that, or I should be overwhelmed. And we can kind of get in our own heads during this time. Don't let fears hold you back. Think big and be brave. Don't overburden ourselves. So this can be a day where we absolutely overburden ourselves. We put way too much on our plate. We think we have to get way too much done. We're being told here to celebrate our victories. It doesn't have to be monumental victories, but slow, steady, powerful victories need to be celebrated during this time for us and, within our own hearts, within our own souls. Now, what I found really interesting while researching and meditating, researching the number 22, is that the Hebrew alphabet has 22 letters, and meditating on the number 22. And the word of God is called the lamp. And thus it means that it is the light by which we live by. And in scripture, okay, the word light is found, in scripture, the word light is found 264 times. And when you take 264 and you divide it by 12, which is the number of divine authority, we have 22. So this is the light. This represents, 22 represents the light for which we live by, the light for which we are guided. And this is going to be a day where, yes, we feel connected, yes, we feel backed, but we have the Hierophant coming through time and time again, right? Or at least a version of the Pope, right? Coming through. And this is a time for us where we need to connect. We need to connect with our traditions. It doesn't have to be orthodoxy. It doesn't have to be any sort of, religious group or way of having to be. But it's saying here, let your light shine. And this is a time where we need to let our light shine. We need to embrace who we are and what we want and what we desire from our world. And that's where the sun comes in. It's the light. It's the lamp of the world. It is the light that illuminates. It's the passion that brings us forward. It's the insight. It's the ideas. It's the brilliance that comes our way. And by embracing this, we start to embrace ourselves, and we have to find our justice. Now, justice can be confusing because we're going to think, I have to be just for everyone and everything. It's like, no, I need to balance things. I need to be discerning about the energy I'm letting into my life. I need to look at what I greatly desire, where I want to be, what I don't want for my life, how I'm moving forward for me. It's being discerning about the energy that feeds us. It's being discerning about the power that is around us. And as we are discerning, we start to embrace our traditions. We start to embrace what we love. We start to find that we hold the keys. We hold a lot more answers than we ever thought we did. And as we're embracing these answers, as we're looking at these answers, as we're starting to find and understand and realize a lot more, we're saying, what is intrinsically true to me? What is that if I walk away from this, if I don't do this, if I turn away from this part of myself, that I turn away from a fundamental part of myself, and I start to turn my back on what is intrinsically and powerfully, beautifully guiding me forward. It brings us to the Two of Wands. In our inner self, we're going to find a lot more power in the number 22 than we do anywhere else. And so meditate, contemplate, embrace. But here, we're going to see the world opening. We're going to see ourselves looking at things and saying, I want a change, or I want to move forward, or I want something more than what I have right now. How do I obtain it? How do I go after it? How do I call it into my life? How do I have it in my life? We're going to be looking at things and questioning and seeking and coming to a lot of major realizations, because the High Priestess, again, in earlier tarot decks, called the female Pope, had the veil lifted from her eyes, sees what others cannot, see what is hidden from us. And so it doesn't matter whether you believe in Pope Joan or not, whether she's a myth or an actual person. That's no relevance whatsoever. What matters here is that we're starting to see. We're starting to see what once was hidden. We're starting to see ourselves in a new way, in a powerful way. It can be even in a way that we don't always like. It's like, oh, well, why do I do that? And, oh, wow, maybe I have to step back from that, or, whatever it is. And we start to find ourselves being guided more towards who we are, more towards what we want. We're also not going to buy other people's nonsense. We might have had a tendency to think, oh, well, their lies are truths. They're right, I'm wrong, type of thing. And it doesn't mean that we're always right during this time, but it does mean that we have to listen and we have to connect. And as we do so, we're going to see behind the masks that people bring forward, behind what it is they want us to see, and to what it is that it actually is a part of us. So this is going to be a time where it's seeing behind the marketing. It's seeing behind what they're telling you to believe and saying, oh, really? Is that true? Oh, really? That's what you're trying to sell me. And it brings us to the Hierophant. It brings us to our traditional truth once again. Now here, Taliesin, he is a famous Welsh, in Welsh mythology, a famous poet, a famous bard, a famous mind. And what we have here is a boy who started as nothing. Taliesin was named different. He was a serving boy. He was told by the sorceress, Ceridwen, to stir a pot, and to keep on stirring that pot for however many days. I think it was 3 days, but I'm not sure. And not to spill a drop. And what happened is a bubble popped up and hit his finger or his thumb, and he stuck his finger in his mouth. And all of a sudden, he got all the wisdom of the world that she was preparing for her son to drink, that she was preparing as a gift for her son. And now this peasant boy got it. And why? And so she hunted him down. And because this is a myth, they shape changed. He changed into a grain of corn. She changed into a hen, and she ate him. And she became pregnant with him because, of course, why not? And so all the gifts that she was preparing were bestowed onto her son, just not the son that she had. And so we're going to be seeing things like that in our hearts, in ourselves. All the gifts are coming, not in the way that we expected. The wisdom is coming, our life is changing, not in the way that we thought. And it brings us to the Three of Cups. It brings us to the people who have celebrated us within our lives, but also the people who are supposed to have celebrated us and couldn't be there for us, turned their backs on us, abandoned us, hurt us, walked away from us, tried to sabotage us. And now we're going to say, why? Why am I giving all this power to these people when I need to embrace the power of celebration, the power of friendship, the power of beauty, the power of connection? And if we're saying, I don't have anybody in my life, Dane, who celebrates me, we have our angels, we have our spirit guides, which, yes, it would be better if we had concrete people in our lives, but we don't always. We don't always. And sometimes it's the connection. It's the memory of a loved one who passed. It's the beauty of, a flower. It's something to find joy in, to find comfort in, to find backing in. That means the world to us. And it brings us to the King of Swords. It brings us to cutting through doubts and fears and negativity. This is the most masculine of the kings. And here he's saying, this is the skill that I have learned. This is what I have dedicated my life to. This is what I bring to the table. And I'm cutting through nonsense, doubt, fear, negativity, chaos. And I am stepping into myself. Openly, honestly, without hesitation. And it brings us then again into the public arena. And it says here, ritual, ceremony, tradition, structure, knowledge, wisdom, teacher. And that's the energy that's coming forward. This is a time and this is a day where we will be taught, where we will start to understand, where things will start to come together in a way that we just hadn't thought they would. We start to have ritual and structure to our lives, to ourselves. We start to see ourselves. We start to honor ourselves. We start to become more us than we have been maybe since we were 5 years old. We start to embrace a truth that seemed like a hurtful whisper of a lie. A hurtful thing that was never going to be obtained. And now we're going to see ourselves stepping forward, coming into what we love, what we want, and where it is that we truly need to be. And it brings us to the Six of Wands, where it says victory and glory and triumph, and repeats that like a mantra around the crown of the owl, around the crown of the wisdom that is us. It is now time to celebrate our victories, time to celebrate our triumphs, time to let ourselves move forward in grace and in glory. Because this is a time where we are going to be surprised at the doors that open. We are going to be surprised at the light that leads us forward. And we are so connected, not only to this number, but we are so connected to the energy that is brought forward, to our angels having our back, to, our spirit guides being right there with us, that it can feel overwhelming. Now, our subconscious energy to be mindful of is the Hierophant, is feeling that the ritual, the structure is everything, and ignoring the voice within ourselves as well. So it's taking structure and a place. It's kind of like a church means more than my person, or a temple, or, a mosque, or whatever it is, means more than what my soul is saying. And what Spirit is saying here is be very mindful of that. Because though that could feel right in a moment, that's going to make us lose ourselves in the long run. And it doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to be a religious experience. That was the first example that Spirit brought to my mind. But Spirit saying, it can also be a work. It could be this institution, this structure, this way of doing things is right. And my inner voice is just being paranoid. It's just being overwhelmed. It's like, no, listen to it. Because work might not be right for us. The place that we're looking to move to might not be right for us. It's like, sit there and really listen. It brings us to our subconscious chakra energy, and that's holistic health, which I love. It's one of my absolute favorite cards. And this is the root chakra, but saying holistically, who are you? Holistically, how do we heal? What is it that we need? What is it that we desire? What is it that we love within our lives? And it's saying be openly, be honestly, and be kindly you. And that is something that is more tremendous than we will ever know. To say, how do I connect? How do I connect with the earth around me? How do I connect with my body? How do I listen to my body? How do I see what I need? How do I see what I want? It brings us to our subconscious rooted self, and that's temperance, balance, Sagittarius energy coming forward. So if we have Sagittarius within our natal chart, it's going to be powerful for us. And here, it's coming forward as a root. Subconsciously, we need balance. We need harmony. We need structure. And it brings us to our subconscious inner self. And that is the Two of Swords. We're going to see a new world open up. We always thought it was one way or another. You could move one way or another. And now we're going to find, wow, there are more options here than I ever knew existed. There are more ways forward. And oh my gosh, it's another two. It's another two. So now we have 2, 2, 2, which is the year, right? 2, 0, 2, 2. 2 is important. It's a twin flame number. It's a teaching number. It's a learning number. It's a connecting number. Twin flames do not only have to be our soulmates that we fall absolutely head over heels in love with. It's the person that teaches us more than we maybe even ever wanted to know about our world and about ourselves. It moves us to our subconscious emotional self, and that is the Page of Wands. We come forward at this time as a student. We are getting the knowledge. We have the knowledge in our hands. We are seeing ourselves more and more. And this is a time where we have to open up the messages that are being given to us. Are we going to be apprehensive? Absolutely. Are we going to think we know more than we do? Yes, most definitely. But this is a time where we are to learn, where we are to see, where we are to connect, where we are to gain an understanding of what we want and what we greatly desire from our lives and for ourselves. It moves us to, and also we start to become a student of our passion, a student of our heart, a student of where we need to be for us, and say, but this is what my heart needs. This is what my soul needs. It brings us to our subconscious public arena self, and it's the Knight of Cups. And here it says prospect and pride. What is our pride bringing to us? What are our prospects? Are we letting our ego get into the way? Are we embracing our hearts and our souls and what we deeply love and what we deeply desire for ourselves? Are we moving forward slowly and steadily towards a sense of the heart, towards a beauty of what we want within our lives, towards, our purpose of emotion and desire? Or are we letting that be dictated by somebody else or by, society at large? All right. right, Aries. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. I can't believe that you had so many Hierophants, and you had the High Priestess, and, the number 2 so many times in the inner self. This is going to be powerful, and this is going to be bigger than we've even been able to touch the surface of. So let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a balancing and a amplifying of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of the number 22 and of the day February 2nd, 2022. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Aries. And may you have a blessed February 2nd.